Hey everyone, welcome back to ATX VGC's Monday Night Friendlies. So we are here tonight with the very first of the Series 7 for Monday Night Friendlies. We are so excited to bring these to y'all. We've got 4 incredible battles lined up, and it's actually a week where none of the 4 of us will be playing, which is also super unique and doesn't happen every week. A lot of excitement coming in from the Discord as everyone's highly anticipating Series 7. So we're really excited to bring these to you.
I'd like to take a moment to comment on a few things from chat. Amy has correctly pointing out that the game-winning strategy was and always have been just connecting a sheer cold.
That's always the correct way to end a game, to go through a game. Sheer cold is cool. I actually noticed I was getting my team battle ready, or I went to the battle tower to get, I think it was Tapu, or it was Kartana, and it ended up taking a move off, and I think it put Guillotine on Kartana. It made me think about
hey, go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
30% of the time, it works every time.
It'll give me that beast boost, so that's
Adam's right. You land 4 sheer colds and you just win the game.
That's true.
Okay, so let's see what we got here. Sharpedo has Tyranitar, Tapu Lele, Heatran, one of the Urshifus, Tornadus, and Amoonguss. And Professor Ragna, very interestingly, has none of the new Series 7 Mons, has just stuck with some of the older stuff and brought some things that were illegal in the previous gen. He's got Milotic, Marowak, which destroyed my dreams, Porygon 2, Incineroar, Grimmsnarl, and Rillaboom. Ragna, just another quick shout out to him. 2nd place at the Texas Championship from the play-in bracket. He had a really great night and he played super well. So congrats to him. And Marowak was on his team.
Yeah, so one thing I will note about these two teams here is that there is a Milotic on the screen, and we don't have the emote for it just yet, but I'm a part of the Ban Milotic gang.
Yes, we would like to take a moment to remind everyone that ATX is a Milotic illegal stream. Ragna is going highly against protocol, but we'll see how it goes.
This will be Ragna's last time here on Monday Night
Chase, you
Friendlies.
can't say ban Milotic. You brought Milotic.
You're the reason, Chase. You were the reason Milotic is getting banned in the first place. And I, by the way, guys, I am just joking. If you did hear what I just said, this will not be Ragna's last time on Friendlies. It was just a joke.
VGC 2020, one-hit KO moves will work on Max Mons. I like it. Looks like Sharpedo is going to go for the lead of Tyranitar and Tapu Lele, and Professor Ragna is going to go for Incineroar and Porygon 2. This looks like a pretty solid parting shot in Trick Room. Unfortunately, the sandstorm, not the sandstorm, the psychic terrain means that Incineroar won't be able to fake out on either one of these Mons. The potential scary thing is something like a superpower from the Tyranitar and a Psychic into the Porygon 2, but with the Intimidate from Incineroar, I don't think that's going to get the Porygon 2.
Yeah, so it looks like the Trick Room is really just free here, and then free to either fake out or, well, not fake out, but parting shot, as you mentioned. I think that's probably where I'd go as well.
Yeah, potentially a little worried about taking a rock move on the Incineroar, so you don't want to go, because you don't know the speed encounters just yet, so you may want to just go for a hard switch, or this is a good time to test it either way. You got 3 sets potentially, so we'll see what happens. Psychic comes out from the Tapu Fini into the Porygon 2. That does half damage, and we get to see the Life Orb from it. Superpower comes out from Tyranitar into the Incineroar, actually. Very interesting. I'm going to drop the attack and defense of the Tyranitar. Parting shot's going to come out into the Tyranitar, so it's going to have to switch out pretty soon. It's offering no offensive pressure right now. And we'll see who Ragna chooses to switch it into. It's going to be the Marowak. Marowak, crazy strong, now in Trick Room, next to its best friend Porygon 2. This is a solid turn for Professor Ragna. Although something to notice, the Psychic and Superpower may have gotten that Porygon 2.
Yeah, I think it definitely would have. That Psychic did surprisingly a lot of damage to that Porygon 2. I was pretty impressed with that as well. And we're gonna see the stat drops there from the Tyranitar as Ragnar showing it's -3 T-Tar right now.
Yeah, I'd say you have the world's safest Recover and Max Phantasm. Tyranitar could theoretically go for something like a Lash Out if it has it, but it's at -3 still, so I don't think that's going to get your Marowak. And if you're really, really scared of that, you could go for a Poltergeist onto the Tapu Lele. Maybe get some info. Oh, no, we already saw the Life Orb, so you already know the item. But yeah, I'd just go for a Recover and a Max Phantasm.
Yeah, I think if you're Professor Ragnar, you're going to want this Tyranitar to stay on the field as long as possible, and it looks like Sharpedo is kind of noticing that and decides to just switch it out right away, get those stats cleared back up, and get this Heatran on the field.
Yeah. You're going to switch out. I'd say you had to. You're at -1 defense, you're at -3 attack, you can't stay on the field. I mean, you could hope for a crit, but like, if you get targeted by attack, you're just going to go down.
We are going to see the super cool Marowak torch spin there, where we all love that. That's our intro to our YouTube videos. And we are actually going to see Sharpedo go straight for the Dynamax here as well. Going to be the Tapu Lele, which is pretty cool. Under Trick Room, though, I don't know if this Lele is going to be able to live. Phantasm from the Marowak here is going to be massive, and we know it's going to go first.
Yeah, Max Phantasm, I'm pretty sure is just going to get the knockout. Yeah, Marowak goes first, Phantasm comes out into the Tapu Lele. It's a one-hit KO. Yeah, Marowak's super strong. I don't think the Tapu Lele is going to survive that.
Yeah, with the thick club item on the Marowak, it gets its attack up to usually around 250 with the attack stat. Echo Rose, thank you for the follow. And we are going to see a recovery here from the Porygon too.
Yeah, honestly, that's like the perfect turn if you're Professor Ragnar. Like, you get your Porygon back up in health, you KO the max that your opponent went for.
You get the defense drop on the Heatran as well.
Thundurus going to come out. Doesn't have Trick Room. It's in Psychic terrain, so it can't taunt anything. If Porygon has something like an Ice Beam, you can just go into an Ice Beam, break a potential Focus Sash. You know that the only other Mon in the back is Tyranitar, so if you have Quake on the Marowak, it's at -1, so there's no reason not to go for it. I'm pretty sure, unless it's Shuka Bear, I'm pretty sure it would get it through Protect. And I'm fairly positive the Tornadus does not get anything like Ally Switch.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. It looks like we are just going to see a Tailwind here from the Tornadus. Not going to be very good this turn just yet because we are under Trick Room, but we are going to see the Shuka Berry, as you mentioned, come through, as this Marowak is going to get a max Quake off into the Heatran, and it's still going to be enough to get the knockout at -1. This already very, very strong Marowak only gets stronger.
Yeah, when it punched in onto the Tornadus, and I thought that it was going for an Ally Switch, and I was like, what? It gets that? Ice Beam gonna come out. Potentially, if there was a set. Oh, okay, we get to see it's a Recovery Berry. Yeah, that looks like Citrus. I don't think that's in Pinch Berry range. Yeah, Citrus. It dealt over half, so it's in range of another Ice Beam. Even if it has Protect, the issue is that there's still 2 turns of Trick Room left and not enough stuff to stall it. You'd have to go for a double Protect, I think. Potentially what you could do here is Phantasm the Tornadus and switch in your Incineroar to get the attack drop onto Tyranitar, like kind of slow play things a little bit more, and then you can like Parting Shot and find out the speed tiers, because Tyranitar's strong, but I'm not sure if it can like bring a game back on its own.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that Phantasm play is a really cool idea, because then you will get the -1. Mad Russian, thanks for the follow. But yeah, I do think that that's a super cool play, just in case, for whatever reason, the Tyranitar wasn't quite bulky enough to survive the, you know what I'm saying?
case it could survive like a boomerang out of max and it like protected that turn and wouldn't take it the next turn.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. But both players just chose to go on the offensive. Tornados went for a taunt, but Psychic Terrain's up, so it's not going to be able to taunt the Porygon 2. And Marowak's just able to get the KO really easily with the Quake. So game 1 goes to Ragna.
Yeah, so very cool plan from our players there. I do like, I just think in Series 7, if you're watching what Ragnar just did there, I think the pressure of Intimidate and Parting Shot from Pokemon like Incineroar or other Intimidators, kind of like Landorus, if you can pivot them in and out, it's going to be massive for your team because there are a lot of Pokemon in this format that are physical attackers and just hit so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, so I imagine that Sharpedo is going to want to go for bringing the Amoonguss this time. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't bring in the first round, seeing as how that Ragna's team looks like entirely Trick Room oriented. I don't know what adjustments Ragna's going to want to make. The Incineroar is solid, the Marowak was solid, Porygon 2 was solid, Milotic was in the back and didn't really get to make a showcase, but it still like has a solid matchup. There's not really any grass types that can get through it super effectively. I don't know what kind of Milotic it is. Specifically, I hope it's not Coil Hypnosis Milotic.
We would have some big problems if that were the case.
Yeah.
We do see the Rindo Berry, so that kind of leads me to believe that it probably is not. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Milotic other than I hate it. It gets Hypnosis and Coil and
recover, and muddy water,
Scald, but yeah. Ugh.
Always remember, ban Milotic.
Ban Milotic. Get that thing out of here.
All right. So far, it looks like Ragna's not going for the exact same thing. He's going to be bringing the he's bringing the Rillaboom this time. I don't know. He may have thought that the Intimidate pressure that he had wasn't that important in the match, but potentially it could be because now Porygon 2 could be taking a Superpower and a Psychic, or it's just going to be the Amoonguss that comes out this time.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree, and we are gonna see Daniel have the Tornadus plus the Amoonguss here, and we are gonna see Professor Ragna have the Porygon 2 plus the Rillaboom.
Yeah. I imagine here you don't want to go for Trick Room. I would just go for an Ice Beam, maybe knockoff into the Amoonguss, or maybe fake outs or knockoffs the Tornadus. Just go for damage here. I don't think you're getting Trick Room up. Either you're going to get taunted or you're going to get spored. One of the two is going to happen.
Yeah, I would agree. Even with the fake out pressure, it's very hard to get the Trick Room off. The one thing that I would be afraid of is a taunt coming from the Tornadus, but as you mentioned, it's probably not even going to be too crazy of a thing here with the Spore pressure being there as well. So we are going to see the Marowak come out, which was the Porygon 2. Fake out does go into Amoonguss, so there's no Spore happening here. Tailwind's going to come up from the Tornadus and the Prankster ability. So that's going to be the end of our first turn there, as we are going to see the grassy terrain give a little bit of HP back to the Amoonguss after the fake out.
Yeah. The Tailwind's going to make sure you're faster than anything on the field. Ragna's going to have to be really careful with the positioning, or just start taking the sleep turns and figuring out how to get around them. I don't know exactly what Sharpedo has in the back, but with the Tailwind, anything he brings is going to be able to outspeed what he has on the field. His team's already pretty slow. Oh, actually, Amoonguss just switches out. Seems to be only brought to take care of the potential of Trick Room. And now that that's not a current option on the field, I guess he doesn't think that he needs it. Tapu Lele's going to come in, overwrite the grassy terrain with some Psychic Terrain. Marowak's going to go for a Protect. If a Flare Blitz went there, that would have been really great. Hurricane comes out, but there's no rain up, so it's not 100% accurate, and Rillaboom dodges it. Knockoff comes out into the Tapu Lele, knocking off the Life Orb, so it's a pretty solid turn.
Yeah, very cool to see there. If that Hurricane did land, it'd kind of be fun to see. I guess the Assault Vest is there, so it's not going to pick up a knockout into that Rillaboom slot, but that's not something that Daniel knows just yet. If that Rillaboom is not wearing an Assault Vest, I think it comes down to a roll, whether that's a knockout or not into the Rillaboom.
I don't think a Hurricane would get Rillaboom from full range if it has an Assault Vest, but I don't know Tornadus calcs that well. Rillaboom's going to switch out, probably wants to get the terrain back in its favor as soon as it can. Porygon is going to get the attack boost from downloads, not exactly what you want. Oh, Ragna's going to double switch out this turn for Milotic. Okay, that's interesting. And Tapu Lele goes for a Protect this turn.
Just an icy win there from the Tornado, so that's a really good switch from Ragna. I don't think that he read the icy win, but Milotic is going to get a special attack boost here.
Yeah, that's a really solid. The issue is, so Porygon 2 can't be taunted this turn. The only thing you have to be careful is that Amoonguss is still in the back. If it had something like a Focus Sash, it's definitely regenerated enough health to be back to Focus Sash. I don't think we know what the item is on it. I assume that Sharpedo is going to want to, switch out the... Oh, if this is into the Amoonguss, Urshifu, actually. Very cool. So that's going to be the Water-type Urshifu. Double switch out of Sharpedo's up. We're just double switching every other time here.
Oh, man.
Ice Beam comes out from the Milotic into the Urshifu with the +2, and Urshifu's poor special defense. That does better damage than you'd normally think.
Yeah, that was pretty good damage there with the boost up. So the Tailwind is going to peter out as the Trick Room is going to go up at the same time. So that's something good to note where our speed tiers are. Also, there is a -1 in both of Ragna's team as well for speed.
Yes. And now you kind of need to start guessing where the spores are going to be going. Because right now, Ragna can get a KO if you just attack the Urshifu with both your Mons, but he may not want to take the sleep turns. But honestly, like, if you just go, like, you can take out the offensive pressure and then still have Trick Room still. Oh, actually, no, if he has a Rillaboom, so he can Grassy Glide. Never mind, everything's fine. But kind of what I was saying earlier, like, that Urshifu is gonna max, or it's the Amoonguss.
That would be even more fun to watch, I'd say.
Is it the Amoonguss? Okay, no, it is the Urshifu. Little disappointed, but...
Yeah, so it looks like Daniel's going to try to get the most health possible out of this Urshifu and kind of stall out this Trick Room as much as he can. Rage Powder is just going to come out from Daniel's Amoonguss. So this Porygon 2 is just going to go straight for the Ice Beam, going straight into the Amoonguss. Does about half health, pretty good damage there from the Porygon 2. Max Knuckle comes out from the Urshifu, targeting down the Porygon 2, so that's going to boost its attack pretty good there. So pretty good turn from our players there as we see the Milotic switch out into the Rillaboom.
Yeah, Sharpedo probably doesn't want it to do the guessing game of where's your Rillaboom coming in, so he just goes for, okay, I can redirect an attack and get a Knuckle off, and either you switch into my Knuckle or I get big damage off on the Porygon 2. But now you've got Spore Pressure back. You could switch in Tapu Lele, so Grassy Glide does less to your Urshifu. I think that which looks to be what Sharpedo's going for. Yeah, switching out into Tapu Lele, gonna get rid of the grassy terrain. We'll see how well it takes an Ice Beam in a second. This Grassy Glide's gonna do a lot less than it normally does, and with Urshifu's solid physical defense, I think that it'll be able to take the hit.
Yeah, so that Ice Beam coming out from the Porygon 2, doing about half damage from what it was at. That Grassy Glide still does so much damage to that Urshifu, even though the terrain has changed. Max Knuckle comes out, targeting down the Porygon 2. Is going to be enough to pick up the KO this time, as it was at +1, now at +2 after the boost.
Yeah, so Now, Ragnar's going to get a switch into another one of his Trick Room Mons. Looks like he's going to opt for the Marowak. Oh, Tailwind's still up. So Amoonguss is faster than the Marowak. So Sharpedo actually needs to stall out his own turns of Tailwind. You can just go for another Grassy Glide into the Urshifu and a Phantasm into the Lele. You have a double KO on the field right now. And then Amoonguss comes in, and as long as Rillaboom still exists, like, it kind of can't do anything to it. Well, actually, no, it has Sludge Bomb, so that's not entirely correct. I'm a liar. Don't listen to me.
I do think this Marowak is pretty free to just go straight for the max and Phantasm into something, and I think that whatever it Phantasms into, whatever is left, whatever Rillaboom is targeting down is probably going to go down as well. But it looks like that's not going to be the case, as Milotic's just going to switch in for the Rillaboom, as we do have a hard case of terrain wars going on in this game.
Yeah, it looks like Ragnar really, really wants to keep his terrain up, but I don't super think he needs to. Like,
I don't think so either.
Yeah, a Grassy Glide. Urshifu's in range of a Grassy Glide. Tapu Lele just lives in range of a Max Phantasm. I guess he's trying to limit like the switch-ins that are coming, but yeah, I don't really think that. Yeah, and then the Max card comes out from Urshifu.
Yeah. So Max Quick is just going to target down that Urshifu, so it is going to be a waste of the first turn of Dynamax. Shadow Ball is going to come out, targeting down that Marowak, so taking some unnecessary damage there. I think it's a little bit of a fallback there from Ragnar this time around, just getting a little greedy with the switches, but all as well as this match is still far from over, as both trainers do have, Daniel has 4 Pokemon and Ragnar still has 3, so looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you're still in the same position that you were last turn. You have a double KO like on the field that you can get. So, I mean, nothing wants to switch into these attacks. Like, you can, everything's super low. Yeah, Sharpedo just kind of has to double sack this turn. He can't really switch into these moves safely. Urshifu is in range of a Max Flare. If Ragnar went for Scald on the Milotic, Lele might live. That may have been not the most forward thinking. Yeah, Scald comes out from the Milotic into the Tapu Lele. Is enough. Tapu Lele barely hangs on and is able to get another Shadow Ball off onto the Marowak.
Yeah, so that Marowak is going to go down to 100 HP, and this Spadef is going to drop. With the dimensions twisting around, things may be falling out of Ragnar's favor just a little bit, but it is down to 3v3. Amoonguss coming out, just a little bit of chip damage taken on that, and the Lele lives with just barely anything of its health left, probably somewhere between 5 and 10 HP.
Yeah. Potentially, Amoonguss might be able to pressure its way back into a win for Sharpedo. The sun is up, so Hurricane's even less accurate than it normally is. Lele's very low. I say that like this turn you could just Spore the Milotic and Shadow Ball the Marowak again, and there's not really a lot that Ragnar can do to stop that. He's gonna try something though, it looks like. Marowak is gonna switch out despite having one last turn of Dynamax. Rillaboom is gonna come back in. Yes. Which means that it is most likely going to be eating this Shadow Ball from Tapu Lele. With the Assault Vest, it'll take it better than normal. Amoonguss just goes for a Rage Powder, actually, interestingly enough. Shadow Ball comes out into the Rillaboom. With the Assault Vest, it should eat it pretty healthily. It does. Milotic goes for Ice Beam. It is redirected into the Amoonguss. I think it's going to be just outside of a 2-hit KO with the Grassy Terrain recovery. And now
I don't see any reason here, Rollercoaster, for Ragnar to go for anything that's not an Ice Beam into Amoonguss and a Grassy Glide into Tapu Lele.
The only thing that could potentially go wrong with that is a switch to Landorus, which will take the Grassy Glide a lot better, and we'll be able to get the terrain back. You may want to go for, and it looks like the Tapu Lele can't threaten that much damage onto the Rillaboom. So going for something like a knockoff to cover for the switch in. Tapu Lele actually goes for Protect this turn, trying to avoid going down. Gonna have Amoonguss disrupt a little bit with Sleep. Amoonguss gets real low, but because of the Grassy Glide, ooh, Sludge Bomb comes out. This is gonna deal more damage. Is it gonna get a poison? It gets the poison. Okay. Rillaboom goes for a knockoff into the Tapu Lele to cover the switch for the Landorus, but Lele protects. Lele recovers a little bit of health, and Amoonguss recovers a little bit of health, and now Tornadus can come back in so that you can get the terrain back up and take the Grass Glide better. Amoonguss can protect and then switch back to Tapu Lele, or you probably don't want to sack your Tapu Lele. It's these games are a lot closer now, and a Psychic also potentially can do big damage into the Rillaboom.
Yeah, so the Amoonguss is going to switch out. Looks like it is going to be the Tornadus coming in, and it's not going to want to take an Ice Beam from this Milotic. Grassy Glide is just going to come from the Rillaboom, going straight into the Tapu Lele. Not enough defense there for Tapu Lele to hang on at such little HP. Ice Beam does come out from the Milotic into the Tornadus, does more than half. Very good damage there. Based on all the Ice Beams we've seen so far throughout this entire game, Rollercoaster, I can't believe we haven't seen a freeze yet.
The sun's up, so you can't freeze. Rillaboom's taking Poison Chip. Tornadus, we've seen Tailwind and Taunt and Hurricane. I don't know what the fourth move is, potentially just Protect. But I think you just target the Milotic at this point, because Rillaboom's dying to its own poison. You can try to hit a Hurricane into it just to pressure it to try to stop it from doing anything, but I think you Spore Milotic, and it's gonna be. We'll see if this little mushroom can bring things back for Sharpedo.
Yeah, it'll be fun to find out. Looks like our players are taking a little bit of time here to decide. This is getting down to our last turn, maybe two at the most. Grassy Glide is going to come out, just going straight into that Tornadus. Still does so much damage to that. Brings it down into the yellow. Hurricane comes out in the sun, and it is going to land. That's going to be more than enough to get the knockout into the Rillaboom. Let's see what this Milotic wants to do.
It's probably just going to go for an Ice Beam into the Tornadus. It does connect into the Tornadus. Tornadus goes down. Amoonguss definitely went for a Spore, or I assume went for a Spore. It actually goes for a Sludge Bomb instead, and that's actually going to seal the game, even though it actually, especially with that poison, because now
it can't sleep.
It can't be put to sleep. You could try to Protect stall, but Ragna could have recovered. So it's just you just Ice Beam the Amoonguss every turn, and Ice Beam Flare Blitz constantly. No reason to get fancy with it. No, you don't have to go for like Flare Blitz and a Protect, or an Ice Beam and a Protect. Just Flare Blitz, Ice Beam, and Amoonguss kind of can't really do anything about it because it needs to like get knockouts. Ice Beam comes out, gonna do a good amount of damage, almost enough to get the KO. Spore comes out into the Marowak. That's probably the thing that you need to happen. And Amoonguss could Protect every single turn, and it still wouldn't be able to win, I don't think, because it's in range of another Ice Beam. The poison is chipping away. Like, you could just try to Protect as much as possible and hope that Milotic dies to poison, but I don't think it would.
Yeah, you need to get as many Protects off as humanly possible, and it's not going to make a crazy difference as the terrain goes away. But you would also need the poison to wear down the Milotic, and you would need maximum sleep turns coming from the Marowak, and you'd also need the Marowak to not be there to get the max Flare Blitz off as well.
Yeah, and then Amoonguss just goes down to the second Ice Beam from Milotic, and that's going to be the game.
Yeah, so very cool. That was our second game there of our. That was our third set, right? Yeah, that was our third set.
Third set, yeah.
Yeah, so guys, if you are having fun tonight, I know that me and Rollercoaster are. We do this every single Monday. We call this our Monday Night Friendlies, and if you want a chance to play and participate in the Monday Night Friendlies, you're going to want to see our Discord. So !Discord in the chat, and that will take you to ATX VGC Discord, where we have our sign-ups starting every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we are based in Austin, Texas. And they end on Sundays, but you're going to want to make sure to sign up on Thursdays, as these things tend to fill up as we continue to love all the support that you guys have been bringing us. So thank you guys so much.
Hey, you like that video? We think you should check this out, and YouTube thinks you should check this one out. And be sure to subscribe for more content.